888-300. Now, our friends at CNS, they went to a number of members of the Senate. And they asked these numbers of the members of the Senate what they thought about this idea that the Mueller appointment, given the breadth and depth of his appointment, violates the Appointments Clause. Rand Paul, cut 17, go.
Professor Stephen Calabrese of Northwestern Law School and Mark Levin have argued that Robert Mueller's appointment violates the Appointment Clause because he is a principal officer exercising at least the authority of a U.S. attorney, but was not confirmed by appointed by the president or confirmed by the Senate. Do you agree that Mueller's appointment is unconstitutional?
I think they make a strong argument that someone granted this much power is of the level that should be approved by the Senate. So I think that Mueller should not have been appointed, and I think really we should set an example by not doing this again.
Okay, so would you agree that it's unconstitutional?
I'm afraid I'm probably not an expert in the exact whether this particular issue is constitutional or not, but I think there is a strong argument to be made that when you appoint somebody who's at this level that it should be something that's approved by the Senate.
He's very, very good. Now, Jeff Flake, let's hear what he had to say. Cut 18, go.
Professor Stephen Calabrese of the Northwestern Law School and Mark Levin have argued that Robert Mueller's appointment violates the Appointments Clause because he is a principal officer exercising at least the authority of a U.S. attorney, but was not appointed by the president or confirmed by the Senate. Do you agree that Mueller's appointment is unconstitutional?
No.
No, that's it. That's Flake. Because Flake doesn't care anymore about the Constitution or anything else, despite his propaganda. James Reich of Idaho, Senator, cut 19, go.
Professor Stephen Calabrese of Northwestern Law School and Mark Levin have argued that Robert Mueller's appointment violates the Appointments Clause because he is a principal officer exercising at least the authority of a U.S. attorney, but was not appointed by the president or confirmed by the Senate. Do you agree that Mueller's appointment is unconstitutional?
I can't answer that question.
You can't answer that question?
I don't know. That's a proposition of law that would require debriefing on both sides, plus argument, and then decision by a court. So until a court decides on it, you won't know what the answer to that is. But it is a purely legal question, not a political question.
What's sad there's a United States senator that says he needs a court to tell him. Now, in the end, the way our system has come to work, or not, that seems to be the way it goes. But a senator, a Congress, a Senate, they get to have an opinion, too. Roger Wicker, senator from Mississippi, cut 20, go.
Excuse me, Senator, I have a question about the Mueller investigation. Professor Stephen Calabrese of Northwestern Law School and Mark Levin have argued that Robert Mueller's appointment violates the Appointments Clause because he is a principal officer exercising at least the authority of a U.S. attorney who was not appointed by the president or confirmed by the Senate. Do you agree that Mueller's appointment is unconstitutional?
I haven't had a chance to look at those writings, so I'll be glad to do that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, there you go. We call that a punt. And then there's Johnny Isaacson of Georgia. Go.
Professor Stephen Calabrese of Northwestern Law School and Mark Levin have both argued that Robert Mueller's appointment violates the Appointments Clause because he's a principal officer exercising at least the authority of a U.S. attorney, but he was not appointed by the president nor confirmed by the Senate. Do you agree that Mueller's appointment is unconstitutional?
No.
No? Okay, thank you.
So Isaacson, very deep thinker. He's moved left since he was elected. Flake, very deep thinker. Now, well, why? Now, I just said no. Don't want to look at it. Don't want anything to do with it. Just no. See, the framers just figured that, first of all, senators would be protective of their own prerogatives, including the Appointments Clause, in which the Senate shares in the appointment of principal officers in the executive branch. But not anymore. Not with Johnny Isaacson and Jeff Flake and so forth. I'll be right back.